listening to 91.8 KACK, The Image, Rooster Radio. With your host, Wax Paper, 91.8 KACK, Rooster Radio.
Hello and welcome to KACK Rooster Radio. I'm your host, Wax Paper, bringing you our second show on classic rock's up-to-date updates. I know I stated in the last show I was going to do a segment on Paul Rodgers and his upcoming solo covers album, The Royal Sessions, but then I got to poking around in the classic rock community and found an artist that I wasn't really giving much recognition to. On today's segment, we have an artist that really needs no introduction. Recently induced into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2011 for platinum song hits such as School's Out, 18, and No More Mr. Nice Guy, the famous Alice Cooper. Here's an exclusive interview with Alice Cooper telling about his recent induction.
The thing that's the most impressive thing about it is that you realize that you got nominated, and that's great. All the guys that were your heroes and your teachers voted on you, and they voted for you in order for you to get in. So it's like graduating. You know, it's like you get into that. You never feel like you're on the level of these guys, the Stones, the Beatles, the Yardbirds. You never feel like you're on their level, but you feel like you kind of snuck in the back door. But I mean, at the same time, though, they did vote on you. Meaning that's probably the biggest compliment of all. Your little high school band from Phoenix, you know, who never even thought they'd even meet a Rolling Stone or a Beatle, actually got voted on, and they voted you in. So, you know, it is kind of like a validation of your career. I got to see the Stones. I was telling them I was 15 years old, and I'm painting the house, summer vacation, and I hear, "She loves you, yeah, yeah." So what was that? Because Top 40 radio was on at all times. So we saw the Beatles on TV, and my parents were, you know, they were appropriately taken back. Then they saw the Stones. Suddenly the Beatles were just fine. Those guys, you know, look at their hair is fine. You can have your hair like that. We saw the Stones, and all of a sudden there was this guy that was like, you know, with the lips and the attitude. And he's all over the stage, and he's the white James Brown, pretty much. And we're going, holy crap, what is that? You know. And as soon as I saw my parents' reaction to that, I went, oh yeah, those are my guys right there. And they had this great sloppy attitude, kind of the real punk attitude. They were easily the first punk band, you know. And that got all of our attention. Their hair wasn't washed. You know, they didn't wear suits. And that was, to me, really, really cool. I like seeing the set lists, the old set lists, because, you know, being one of the guy that does that for the band, sits there and goes, okay, what songs are we going to do? And I know what songs we have to do. The Stones seem to be able to go anywhere. I love that. The fact that they must have 300 songs that they know because of all the albums and everything, and then they probably even go do songs that aren't on albums, covers from other people. You know, that's pretty amazing. You know, that they have 300 songs and don't know any endings. I asked Charlie, we opened for him, you know, about 10 years ago? And I said, Charlie, do you guys know any endings? And he goes, no, we just kind of end where we end.
I now have an exclusive clip found on YouTube from 2011 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame featuring fellow horror artist Rob Zombie introducing Alice Cooper into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, followed by brief speeches from original members Alice Cooper, guitarist Michael Bruce, bassist Dennis Dunaway, and Neil Smith on percussion.
Hello, good evening. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I was thinking about rock and roll heroes and what they mean. I mean, we love rock and roll heroes because they're cooler than us, they're smarter than us, they're richer than us, and we all love them, right? Wrong. I mean, let's put it in perspective. I don't want to name names, but say James Bond, you know? What good is James Bond without Goldfinger, or Dr. No, or Pussy Galore? He's just a suave, boring guy in a tux with a nitpicky drink order that likes to say his name a lot. In 1969, that was essentially what had happened to rock. All heroes, no villains. And you're thinking, well, what about Jerry Lee Lewis? What about Keith Richards? Badass motherfuckers, to be sure, but not villains. But then, in 1969, a very special event happened. It was in Venice, California, at the Cheetah Club, where a new band, Alice Cooper, appeared on stage. You say that now, but not in 1969. Because that show is famous for the fact that within 5 minutes, they cleared the room. Everyone hated them. Except one man who saw the beauty, and that was Frank Zappa. Exactly. Who else? So Frank went up to that band, said, I'm going to sign you to my label. I don't like you. I don't understand your music. You're so freaky, I don't get it. Are you on drugs? Which Alice said, no, not on drugs. The rest is rock history. I mean, they went on at that point to become the most rock star destroying band of all time. They were more like a murderous gang of drag queens, say. In a good way, that's good. But their mission was, as they would say it themselves, was to destroy the hippies' dreams of peace, love, and understanding. And to quote them, all they wanted were Ferraris, switchblades, and blondes. Before Alice Cooper, there was not a rock show. He invented the rock show. I wouldn't be here talking about Alice Cooper if it was just a stage show. In a short period of time, they would just crank out amazing platinum record after amazing platinum record, hit after hit, that became more than hits. They became anthems, teenage anthems. School's Out, 18, No More Mr. Nice Guy, Under My Wheels, on and on and on. But I still remember seeing this picture of Alice Cooper leaning at the bar, and he had a denim jacket that said, "Remember the Coop," embroidered on the back. Well, 40 years later, 50 million records later, yeah, we remember the Coop, all right.
People were bored with peace and love. I mean, I always said that we were the band that drove the stake through the heart of the love generation.
So if some 14-year-old boy goes home wearing eye makeup saying, hey, Alice Cooper wears it, why can't I wear it? And of course his parents are going to say,
my reputation sort of precedes me, as far as killing chickens and biting people's heads off. Colonel Sanders kills chickens. I'm the most disgusting, parent-terrorizing band of all time, the Alice Cooper Band.
We just want to thank the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for voting us in. We really have to thank our manager of 42 years, Shep Gordon. We want to recognize the late Glenn Buxton, who was the heart and soul of our band. We were the first generation brought up by the Beatles and the Stones, but the bands that really hit home for us were the Yardbirds, the Who, the Kinks. They gave us our musical education. I hope I never outgrow a Pete Townsend windmill chord. I hope I never outgrow a Jeff Beck lead guitar. I wish I could tell you that being in the hall now that will never embarrass you, but I really can't make that promise. I mean, after all, we are Alice Cooper. It's what we do.
Lots of things happen over the years. Number one, you trade these in for these. I'd like to thank Dwayne Eddy and the Rebels for playing at a double feature movie, and between movies they came out and played, and I said, that's what I want to do.
I just wanted to say thank you for the wonderful Alice's parents, Mr. and Mr. Fernier, for putting up with us as we rehearsed and sat on their Nagahide couch. And also, I'd just like to extend this Find It in Your Heart for our brothers and sisters in Japan who have suffered a tremendous loss, and they'll need all of our help to get back on their feet. And God bless you all, and rock on!
Fuse's presentation of the 2011 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony is presented by AT&T. Rethink Possible.
First of all, I'd like to thank four of my best friends in the world, Glenn Buxton, Michael Bruce, Vincent Fernier, Kim Alice, and Dennis Dunaway. These four characters gave a homeless drummer a place to stay in Santa Monica. 2 weeks later, they asked me to play drums in their band. And also thanks to Bob Ezrin, who became the sixth member of the band. To all the Alice Cooper fans around the planet that have been supportive over the years, well, guess what? Alice Cooper and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame have now collided. And this statue is because of you, it's about you, and it's for you. Thank you a billion.
Finally, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Alice Cooper!
While still touring the world and scheduled for over 100 concerts in the year 2014, all while hosting his internationally syndicated Nights with Alice Cooper radio show 5 nights a week for over a decade now, Alice seems to keep quite actively busy. Amongst quite the busy schedule, Alice recently released an official preview directly through EagleRock.com, giving fans the first glimpse of the forthcoming Alice Cooper documentary titled Super Duper Alice Cooper. This documentary features actual footage, interviews, sustainably weird animals, and quite the rock opera of storylines. With its world premiere at the 2014 Tribeca Film Festival, this documentary will screen on April 17th at the Tribeca Film Festival before playing in over 250 U.S. theaters beginning April 30th. You can head over to Alice Cooper's official website, alicecooper.com, for a complete list of participating theaters.
His name is Alice Cooper.
Here comes this half girl, half guy, half alien band that killed chickens. All of a sudden, we were the most notorious band on the planet. This character that we created was coming to life right in front of us.
It gets in me, you know? I just freak out.
All of a sudden, Alice became more in the fishbowl than the rest of us.
I got lost in the character. The alcohol really drove me.
I had that 1 second of, what insanity are you in right now?
Rock and roll, it's double success. Yeah, that's Alice.
Super Duper Alice Cooper is a twisted tale of a teenager, Dr. Jekyll, whose counter rock and roll part, Mr. Hyde, almost kills him. It is the story of Vincent Furnier, who retraces the transformation of the man born Vincent Furnier into one of the most famous rock stars of his day. A preacher's son who struck the fear into the hearts of parents as Alice Cooper, the ultimate rock star of the bizarre. From the dawn of Alice as frontman for the group of Phoenix Freaks in the 60s, to the hazy disillusion of celebrity in the 70s, to his triumphant comeback as 80s glam metal godfather, we will watch as Alice and Vincent battle for each other's souls. Along the way, Cooper sparked a new subgenre called shock rock. Through a combination of gory songs, wild makeup, and bizarre on-stage stunts involving guillotines, snakes, baby dolls, electric chairs, and gallons of fake blood, Alice's story is told not only by the man himself, but through exclusive interviews with the members of the original Alice Cooper band, Elton John, Iggy Pop, John Lydon, and Dee Snider. Don't miss this world premiere at 2012 Tribeca Film Festival. Again, this will screen on April 17th at the Tribeca Film Festival before playing in over 250 U.S. theaters, beginning April 30th. You can head over to Alice Cooper's official website, alicecooper.com, for the complete list of participating theaters. Recently, Alice Cooper has been on tour opening up for Motley Crue, who just recently announced their final tour, after the band decided to split, signing a legally binding cessation of touring agreement, forbidding each member from using the band's name in future live endeavors. In a clip found on YouTube from Metal XS, Tommy Lee of Motley Crue and Alice Cooper himself tell us about the decision to tour together.
We're both kind of tripping out because it seems like we've just about played with everybody or toured with them. And we've done a couple of festivals where Alice Cooper was on the festival, but we've never done any tours with him. And he's probably one of the only guys that we haven't toured with. We were talking about that this morning. It was like, yeah, it's It's true. We toured with everybody else. Cheap Trick, Kiss.
But let's turn to Alice Cooper himself, who Metal Excess had caught up with the day before in Hollywood. The musician confirmed that his association with Motley Crue was a first for everyone.
You know, it's one of the only bands we've never worked with, and they're old friends. It's very unusual to, when you're in this business, not to have friends like that. You know, like I've worked with everybody, you know, and to think that we haven't toured with Motley Crue is very strange, you know. So when they're going to go do this final tour, or I don't know if they're calling it their final tour or their whatever it is, and they said, "You want to come out and be the guest star on it?" And I said, "Well, you know, as far as I'm concerned, there's so little real rock anymore that it's at a premium."
Nearing close to 30 albums created by Alice Cooper, he recently tells the folks at Metal XS about his current projects and upcoming covers album, saying, "We already have next year's tour planned. Alice already has new album in mind to be released sometime in the future, featuring nothing but covered material, while still leaving the mystery lingering of when the album will come out or what specific songs Cooper intends to cover."
This interview was presented by Hard Force and Metal Excess.
I have never done a covers album. It was around my 29th or 30th album. And I thought, if I'm going to do a covers album, I'm not just going to go out there and just kind of spray it around and just do this song and that song. I'm going to make it specific. So I had a drinking club called the Hollywood Vampires back in the early 70s. And it was Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, Keith Moon, Harry Nilsson, you know, all the guys that were in town. We met every night and drank. All of them pretty much are gone. So now I said, why not make an album for all my dead drunk friends? You know, and those songs, you know, songs from each one of those guys. And now it has a reason to be there. It's not just a covers album. Now it's a specific tip of the hat to the guys that I used to drink with. If you're going to do a John Lennon song and it's, you know, about excess, then Cold Turkey's a pretty good one. You know, I'm not saying that we're going to do that song, but that's a pretty good one. 12 songs together that, you know, every once in a while we go back and say, hey, let's listen to that again. Let's listen to that song. Let's listen to this. You know, it's always good to have like a glut of songs somewhere sitting there that aren't released. They're written, but just not produced yet. So yeah, I've got a bunch of songs with Piggy, and you know, that could see the light of day at any time. This specific album, this covers album, would not involve those songs at all. But the next album could very well have 5 or 6 of them on there. I'm gonna make as many albums as I can. I mean, you know, we already have next year's tour plan, not just this year. We have next year's tour plan. So there's no retirement at all involved in me. You know, I'm not going anywhere. I tour 100 cities a year around the world, and the show just keeps getting better and better. So,
current rock icons Alice Cooper and Paul Rodgers recently added to Rock Legends Cruise 3, a music festival at sea benefiting the Native American Heritage Association, to feature over 50 concerts by classic rock's finest artists on the Royal Caribbean's Liberty of the Seas. Setting sail in February 2015 and benefiting the Native American Heritage Association. Currently announcing the additions of legendary shock rocker and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee Alice Cooper, along with the incomparable Paul Rodgers, who returns from the Rock Legends Cruise 2 by popular demand. Rock Legends 3 lineup as of February 2014 is as follows: The Doobie Brothers, Alice Cooper, Paul Rodgers, 38 Special, The Marshall Tucker Band, Dave Mason's Traffic Jam, Blue Oyster Cult, Uriah Heep, The Outlaws, Molly Hatchet, Rick Emmett, The Edgar Winter Band, 10 Years After, Kim Simmons, and Savai Brown, Pat Travers Band, The Artemis Pyle Band, Swamp DeWomp, The Blue Lords, and many more to come. For further information about this cruise, including specific details, tickets and cabin purchase, what's included, and answers to facts, please go to www.rocklegendscruise.com or call 888-666-1499. That's rocklegendscruise.com or call 888-666-1499. This concludes our show, and this has been your Classic Rock Up-to-Date Update with your host, Wax Paper. Tune in next time for exclusive interviews for your favorite classic rock artists. Our next show, we will be featuring the amazing ZZ Top, who has spent much of the last 45 years on the road. And for this year, 2014, will be no different for them. Be sure to catch your exclusive classic rock updates here with your host, Wax Paper, on KACK Rooster Radio.